Okay, Nick Shokoax, get Kanaik Shimatsim Boa. Ik so got be get Kanot Dohsoy. Okay, Nitsinamen Nunixaki. Okay, Nagaki Mokodukskagaki. Okay, Nagaki Natuita Bigsaki. Okay, Nagaki Sitapi. Okay, Nagaki about the geeks, about the geeks. Greetings, all my relatives. I did my best to welcome our leadership, our workers, our elders. I have the honor of being your host for tonight. So I was given strict orders, stay away from sick sheep because they will not ask me to work for them ever again. So welcome my relatives. We're going to get going now. So our next item here, we're going to ask our one of our spiritual leaders, Bunogek Shikshinam, to give us our opening blessing, followed by Nidatuwa Pakaw Abotukan. He'll say some opening remarks. We'll have our dinner, followed by more speakers. So if I lost you talking, eating, more talking, then we go home.
Thank you very much, Spoopy. Welcome, everybody. So I'll just say a prayer for our meal. Hi, napi natus. O kapex matsitsi pakin hoxistikuishka. Kitrukpinan. Hi, on hotuist mokinan house darks or tupinans. Nakohtaistum skuchspinanaki. Hokenika kiatsumushkani tuishko nakohtaistum skuchspinan. Hokenika nitskimmananaka. Ayo kimma tukinanak napi natus. Anika kinexikuin hakinisi tamatupinanaki. Nika kuikaki. Nakswa patch tupinanaki nika ni patapios. Hokimma tukinan nukusnanix nisukusnax. Is het op een manier zeg saupi. Ook zeg kom je de week dat ik bij zo is zoek. Kimma doe ik dan kerk op zoek wat op in. Dat zou je bezit binana kijk je wacht zo ik stuk. Dat zie daar mes toe binanaak. Dat zie daar mag boksen je man niet stapje met na zeg kijk stoom gaat ik stuk. Hoe moet het op bakken met je bakken kijk. Sesksimoek. En ik ga met nee boy gaat zitten daar met dat supportjes ben. Hij moet naar thuis zeggen. Hoe je gaat zitten daar met nou iets kina ik zeg. Hoe je pak maar stoep kan moet dan sabi bij de pisen stootsman knisto behanja.
Thank you, Bunogak Shikshinam, Gyagom Khkina. Now at this time, I'd like to call upon Nidatuwa Pakaw Abotukan to give us some opening remarks here. So get your tissues ready. Okay, Nabi needs it to buy.
Okay, I was thinking coming over, I'd rather talk about Tony. You know, just we all know Kistunan, our way of life and who we are. It's really important that we always are connected with our family. Hey, so as you know, Tony, I don't consider him as my uncle. He raised me and I grew up with the kids in people say God's country, but I don't know if it's God's country. Old agency, Krista. But being on the board of health a few times there's been a lot of good work that's been done from the staff, the board. And I think one of the things too, we continue to look at, you know, what more can we do? And I think that's the biggest message that that is a member of council, but also, a member of our spirituality as well too. They always say, in our society, it's like so everybody here is like our children. So we always have to look at where, and what we want to accomplish and what we want to do. But it's good people and good leadership as well, like Moniskan Derrick. And I think for over 20 years, when you look at all the work and dedication that he's done, they continue to build where we're at. But at the same time, too, I have to also, thank the staff for supporting us and supporting Derrick. I know that when he made that announcement, well, we kind of heard a little bit about it and didn't want to tell Derrick, but we were trying to convince him, not yet, Derrick. We still got a lot of work to do. And I think, the thing that I always say and I tell everybody, you want to be able to leave a legacy behind with all the hard work. And it's not about, the board, it's about the frontline workers. You are the ones that make a difference, in making who we are and making the health department, a strong organization. And I think that goes to show, the commitment, like Derrick over the years, always on the ball. And a lot of times too, when we have to meet with government officials, Derrick knows what he's talking about, and it makes our job a lot easier. And I think that's one of the message that we wanted to make sure that the board, we prepare ourselves as, changing of the guard, and I was talking to Kash earlier, and I made a couple mistakes a few times when I was talking to Kash. I called him David, Dave. A few years ago when I first got on council, Dave was the director of KRI, and I was the chair. So I've come a complete circle now. Now I'm working with Kash there. So I think, Kash has a lot of support, and that's what is really important about the health department. As long as we can believe in ourselves, as long as we can believe, the common and best interest of our community, I think, we're going to do a good job. And one of the things I told Kash was, I'm behind you 100%. We're going to see how much more we can support Kash and the senior staff as we move forward. I know Derrick has left almost a legacy and a milestone that we want to continue. And even though he's left, but he hasn't left. He's still working with us one day out of the week there, and I think we're trying to convince him maybe 2 or 3 days. So again, I want to welcome my family. This is something that's really important to us. I know the old lady and mom would have been happy to think, and really support it and being behind this, because Putaki was kind of a legacy as well too, like Charlie and others that work with health department, where we want to be. And that's some of the things that we have to look at and really believe that we can continue their wishes and their thoughts and visions as we move forward. So again, thank all of you. I want to acknowledge the board, Crystal, JJ, Shannon. I know Kyla's not here, Charlie. I always talk about the board, and I always tell them, we have to really support one another. They bring a lot of expertise to the table, and it makes it a lot easier for me as chair to do my responsibility as the chairman of the health department. So I rely on everybody, but I'm going to be turning and relying on Kash. So we have to work together and support everybody. And all of you that are here with us, I'm glad you're here, because this is a very special occasion, even though Moniskan won't be around. We'll see him a lot, but I know we're up in Calgary at that summit, that recovery summit, and a few of them there. Well, Derrick, what do you think? So they're already beginning to recruit him. So I know that he's out there. His name is out there. And so I know he's not going to be staying at home or whatnot. Right, Louise? You'll probably be tired of him within a day or two. Go find work. So thank you. It means a lot. It's a sad occasion, but at the same time, too, we know why. And family is really important, and this is what this is all about. So I'm glad you guys are here to spend time with Derrick, but also to celebrate his legacy and milestone, too. So thank you for coming. Hun.
So we at this time, I'd like to call up a couple of our leaders, Mohkudukshkegs, Siksapo, Mr. Patrick Blackplum, Nitsinamina. He's gonna come up with Mogoyohkini. Where is Mr. Elliot Fox? Oh, okay. All right, Bochsabut. There you go, clap. 4 more years.
Okay, get kana exmatsum khwan khatak. Exkain yuwa pian khma. Kititapi min nonan khini istoto. Annan istsuka pi. Aso kwanya sakyo kitsipa po sa khokitani istototsios. Tukskamexitamitani istotoya. Eswatsita pas. Kyo hiksuka pian khma. Gago kita pas sakata gago kitokhtsemakan yo pi mada kita stsio atsa akita sakatas ogek suka piannik manstapu takip inako annika kutapu taksin sikta yaksi takan manstapu takipaka ogidago saksa pipu sikoksa pipu patak saksa pipu. Good afternoon, friends, relatives. It's I wasn't expected to talk. I just came to eat. I didn't want to cook supper. So, but could someone put my video on? I'm honored to be here. Like I mentioned, Garrett. He's done a lot of work for our blood tribe. And we want to thank you for all the work you've done for Ghana. It shows the work you guys are doing. The health department. You guys did a lot for the reserve, and it shows the work you guys doing. And like we're still gonna call you on behalf of our leadership. And I know my cousin here will still call you. Like I hear you'll be back every 3rd day out of a week. So it's good to hear that. On behalf of Chief and Council, our job is to work with the committees, with the leadership. You guys are the workers. You know what you're doing. We don't. We just sit there and say sukapi. So it's a good work you guys are doing, and like someone mentioned, when we sit with that's like Indian affairs, you guys do all the talking. You guys know what we need for our reserve, and we just sit there and when you're done we just clap for you. But you guys are doing really good. All the departments are doing good. Education, health, housing. It's a tough work. But we're all working together. That's the main thing. So, man, just gonna want to thank you for all the good work you've done. And I think I don't know if we brought anything from Chief and Council, or we're too cheap. No, whenever whenever they're gonna give them out, Apo Tukan can give those out. But I'm glad. No, just kidding. We're not cheap. So ni size kitsikam kitsiksiksamat mukben. That's so quite I love you all and take care of each other. Hekim mutsik aspum mutsik. Han.
Okay, niks ook gewoon. Nachts en nachts. Get connected met some poa, because it's good. Still ook makoyo kinni. Hello, everybody. I'm glad to see everybody. I just want to thank Bonokak and Martin for our prayer. Thank you, Martin. I just want to acknowledge our elders that are here. My fellow councillors, Marcel, Patrick, JJ. I can't see anybody else. I just got a text earlier from our chief, Travis. He regrets, sends his regrets he can't be here. He's working. So, but he just said, tell everybody I wanted to be there, but I'm pretty busy. So, on behalf of chief and council, I just want to thank Derrick for, the many years of service he's put in with GAN now. I've never really worked directly with Derrick. I think some of you that, for those I haven't met, my name is Elliot Fox. My first term on council, so it's been a pretty steep learning curve this first year. I was a senior manager with the Blood Tribe Administration for many years. So now I'm on the other side of the table, I guess. So it's been interesting. It's a real privilege to be in a leadership position. It's a big challenge. I think a lot of times we forget because we live in the community. We've got one of the largest populations of any Indigenous community in Canada, with one of the largest land bases. So, we have some real tough jobs. I think a lot of times we forget that. And, Derrick, like I said, I never really worked with him, but I've, been across the table and being on council, I've heard the orientation. One of the things that was really challenging, I think, for everybody around the world was COVID. It's a once in a lifetime experience. And we had to mobilize and try to deal with it. So, that was a tough job. But now, if that ever happens again, hopefully not, at least we know hopefully how to deal with those things better. So yeah, it's I think health is probably the biggest department or entity with the tribe. So, it's a big job. So Kash, you've inherited a big job, but I got confidence in you and Derrick's there to help. And Marcel, the board and our leadership is there to support you. So, but yeah, thank you, Derrick. And for those that aren't aware, and I want to acknowledge my uncle, Kitsikam, Tony. For those that aren't aware, Derrick's my first cousin. So my late father, who's Tony's older brother, and it's good to see everybody here. We usually see, sadly, a lot of our family and friends at funerals. So it's good. I'm glad we're not at a funeral and glad that everybody's here. And so I'm glad to see my Fox. I don't take them as cousins, more like my siblings, and Crystal here as well. Terri-Lynn, of course, Sheila, Annette, and the other clan. Yeah, so good luck, Derrick, in your future endeavors. I know you're going to do well. I was just outside having a smoke with the smokers, and I told him, so what are you going to do? When you wake up, oh yeah, I don't have to go to work. So a little bit of shock there, but I mean, you're still, you're younger than me. So, you've still got some time to do some things, but yeah. But again, thank you everybody on behalf of our leadership. Derrick's my neighbor. We're Moses Lakers. So he's been my neighbor for a few years. I was just telling Louise, my neighbor that I never see. We see each other out in the yard, I think. No wave and we don't. Yeah, so I got to go visit. Anyway, I'll end there. But thank you again, and I want to hear more about Derrick. I've known him since he was, just a youngster out at Fox Lake. Anyways, yeah, so safe travels, everybody, and have a good evening. And thank you.
Thank you to Magoyoch Guinea and Siksat Bop. I was just waiting to see, and now I know Siksat Bop, he's sober. Because if he was a little drunk, he'd say, wow. But he said the proper one, so I know he's sober as a judge. Thank you. I'd like to call up one of our board of directors, Abikshiststikyaki, Crystal Day Chief, to come and bless the mic.
I came color coordinated this evening, even my booklet here. Got lots to say. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to take up all your time. But good evening, everybody. I'm glad you could all make it for this very exciting departure and arrival, both for Derrick and Kash. Thank you, Martin, for the prayer. So, like Elliot said, we are related. We are first cousins. Derrick, Elliot, this clan here. I'm the oldest of Biaki and George. I'm not sure what Grandpa's Blackfoot name was, but I'm the oldest granddaughter. And so these guys are just kids to me. It was pretty exciting to get on the board. I heard all the wonderful opportunities coming to our community. The recovery center community is coming along just great. We did the sod turning, as you could see on the screen there, of our new administration site. For those of you that are not aware of that, that is behind Public Works. We also have the expansion of Kainai Continuing Care Center. So a lot of exciting opportunities for our future people. And I encourage each and every one of you to encourage your children, your grandchildren to pursue the health field. So when I came on, we do introductions, what has happened, in the last term of the board. And I really have to give credit to Derrick with the stories he told us, the challenges of COVID, the flood in the admin building, the hacking of our IT, almost all at once. And you handled it, from what I gather, very well. That's a true leader. So every meeting, part of the agenda for the board is for the CEO to give a update of, his report. And sometimes I just get flabbergasted of all the metaphors and analogies that Derrick uses. Just right off the bat, he's saying this, that. And I'm lost in thought as I'm thinking, how does he come up with those? So I have a few metaphors and analogies here. So this is Derrick. Did we have challenges with accreditation? Yes, we did. but we persevered like Moses parting the Red Sea. Negotiating with chief and council is like swimming against the current, but like salmons, we make it up there. About leadership. A good leader inspires people to have confidence in the leader. A great leader inspires people to have confidence in themselves, which I believe you have instilled in all the directors and managers here. You have resilience, like a willow tree that bends in the storm but does not break. Perseverance with our major projects. It's like being a miner. You have to keep digging. Sooner or later, you'll find the diamond. And now some funny ones. And I won't say who you were talking about here. For example, directors visiting your office. She walked into my office like a centipede with 98 missing legs. This one is about women laughing, but I'll take the exception for Craig. So when we're commenting about laughing, which we do a lot, she had a deep, throaty, genuine laugh, like that sound of a res dog makes just before it throws up. And so to end off, this one is for you, Derrick. Like the phoenix, you will rise from the ashes with rebirth and renewal, overcoming adversity and emerging stronger. It is a reminder that no matter how bad things get, you can rise again. Moving on to our next leader here, which I heard something in Waterton. I can't quite quote you on that, but he was giving up his staff, Derrick, to Kash here. And I'm going to try and say how he said it. But it was like counting coup, like at the Battle of Many Ghosts or the Belly River here, just down below. And that the warrior counting coup and defeating the Cree to gain control over our territory. I hope there's no Crees in the audience. But that just goes to show I have a lot of faith in Kash, but I surely admire Derrick's history with Blood Tribe Department of Health. And he is considered Nisis in our culture. And that I will truly keep in my heart always. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight.
Okay. Thank you to Abikshist Stikyaki. Beautiful words. Next, we have Tuaki. There she is, Miss Shannon Wells, our Secretary Treasurer.
I don't know if it goes high enough. Okay, good evening, everybody. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and celebrating Derrick. It's been quite a run. It's been immense growth for Blood Tribe Department of Health. From the time when Chief Charlie was CEO and he brought the health department into their new building back then. You've now outgrown that building, and you're now did the saw turning for the new one. You're leaving quite the legacy. And remind everybody, don't scare Kash off. It's still his first week. So I'm going to keep it short. I think Crystal said a lot. Derrick, I just have a gift for you. I want to give you this Iniscum that I found in Majorville. I don't think there's anyone more deserving. Thank you.
Thank you, Tuaki, and I think Derrick's going to try your Iniscum at the casino later on. Good luck. And I think next we got coming up to the podium is BTDH, Mr. John Little Bear. We all know him as JJ.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Spoopy. Thank you, Martin, for teamwork on, and welcome everybody to this evening's momentous gathering to honor Derrick. Anastugo BTDH Guy John Jared Little Bear. On behalf of Blood Tribe Council, on behalf of Blood Tribe Department of Health Board of Directors, and on behalf of my family, I just want to commend Derrick for all his great and honorable leadership that he's given to the Blood Tribe. He's passed, I think they said 17, 18 years with the Blood Tribe Department of Health. I came on, going on 3 years now with the Blood Tribe Department of Health, and Derrick's shown me, under his guidance and his leadership, he's shown me knowledge, true warriorism. You know, there's a lot of decisions that have to be made, and when you get into those positions, it's very difficult. So I commend and honor and appreciate everything you've done for us, Derrick. I've learned a lot from you, and I'll always hold that in my mind and my heart there, so it means a lot to me. I know we tried to twist his arm here to get him to stay a few times, but Derrick has, he's done his due diligence, your footprint, it's set, it's with the health department and the Blood Tribe, for our children, for our youth, for all our members, for our elders. We could say thank you, but there's no words that can acknowledge what you've done, Derrick. So we really appreciate that. For myself, like I said, I've hold everything in my heart and my mind, and I always take it with me. We'll miss you. I know you're going to be around always at all the times. I came on 3 years ago, like I said, and with the many board members I work with, and there's a lot of knowledge around with Martin, Charlie, Rodney, everyone. So I've taken it all in. A lot of times I had to mop beat and just listen to a lot of times. But I take that all into my heart and my mind again. So with that, like I said, I just wish you all the best in your future endeavors. To you and yours, all your family and your loved ones. I know your father, everything. I know we've been through a lot, and I appreciate everything, Derrick. Jan, hey.
Thank you, BTDH. Kitsikasukan. I'd like to call up another board member. I'll wait for my mothers. They got to gather themselves here because we got Detsi Boys coming up. Charlie Boy. Mr. Charles Weaselhead. Please come up. Please come and save me.
Okay, ktiks ko kanak smacim wa. Nistona ko ka tatsiki puyo akika. Okay, puno ka eksiki. Kutayak sitika. Kitatsina pessakika kuku siksakika. Kutayak sitak spinana kika. Kuhtas pumistana kika. Hatsumu iskan ki sto kinok päätä piuksena. Kinok koistamatsuuk spinana kika. Oki moksi Egypt stopiksa. Oki niissä kika. Tony kiniksi kuku siksakika. Akai kokissa puka psuupaa kika. Oki mouksen sitä piemin niksi hakika. Oki mohkutuuks kaiksaakika. Ksiksi kohneeksi matsin puhpua. Kiva ja maa tuonah kinni naanaki. Kiitokanis sukaapi speipujuupaa kika. Älen sitä paapii kistunnoon ki päätäpi oksen naanakika. Äsksen ootsi juupaa. Oki moukna ne taaki maa daaletsahta kaikki sitä piinska. Siipina maa jaaki akika. Ksiksi kohneeksi matsin puhpaan nokaa. Thank you very much. I just want to again acknowledge our elder, Martin Heavyhead, for the guidance, the prayer, and part of his life that he's dedicated to health and in other areas where he's really been kind of a light for us in our community. I've worked with Martin for extremely long time. I also want to acknowledge some of the elders around the table. I want to acknowledge my uncle Tony and the kids for all the years that we've spent together. I can honestly say that I've taught Derrick the best things in life, especially when I was younger. Derrick didn't, Tony didn't say a word. I've been involved in health for 48 years, so I must have been 15 about the time I started. And I always say the greatest accomplishment an individual can do is when they leave their space, their home, and their work in a better place than when they got there. And I can truly, honestly say that Derrick has done that. We're extremely proud of you, Derrick. We're extremely proud of who you are as an employee, as a family man, and as a leader with your staff. You know, I've been involved in health, like I said, for many years, you know. And I can remember my aunt, Teresa, when she was going to nursing school. And I drove her a couple of times to the school. And we talked. And I can honestly say she was my biggest critic. Even when I was as chief, I served for 12 years, you know. And I know she meant well, and I learned a lot from her, especially in the field. If we go back to some of the many people that have dedicated their lives, you know, and spent countless hours away from their family to provide us the type of health and the environment that we have with regards to that. Blood Tribe Department of Health is the best health center, bar none, throughout the country. And that's because of the dedication, the commitment, the things that have been passed down from generation to generation, you know. Our people have a rich culture. They've got a proud culture, a strong culture that they use, not only for raising their families, but for building, you know, the programs and services, and not just in health, but in all areas of our life, you know. Health is 600 employees strong right now. And in 5 years, we've grown from 200 to 600 employees. I often say we're the biggest economic development program on the reserve, you know. So. And so, again, like I said, there's been a lot of work that's been done from our people in the past, you know. But I think, you know, as we age and as we grow, you know, I think that's part of the lessons that we have. It's part of who we are, that we teach those behind us, those that are younger, you know. It's the passing of the torch, you know, with regards to ongoing commitment to provide, you know, excellent service to our people, you know. The work is not done, you know. And again, you know, from the time that Derrick was an employee with the Blood Tribe Department of Health to the time of his departure, you know, we've grown quite a bit, you know. And I also want to recognize Martin Heavyhead. He's worked hard for many, many years. I remember the days that Martin was my chairperson when I was the Blood Tribe Department of Health CEO, you know, and then we had tough times back then, you know. We had excellent resources. We had nurses, you know, that from the past, you know. I remember at the Blood Indian Hospital, I worked there for 12 years as the administrator, and I worked with Annie Devine. Many of you still remember Annie. And I remember 2 weeks into my employment there, she said, I'm going to come into my office and we're going to talk, okay? And I said, okay, you know. And the discussions that we had, I remember vividly, you know. She said, you know, always be kind to our people, you know. You're put here for a purpose, you know. And she showed me her very first paycheck. The hospital was governed and run by the Grey Nuns from 1928 to 1954. And she worked for the Grey Nuns for many years. And her first paycheck, she had it. $50 for 2 weeks is what she was paid when she worked there. She worked for 44 years, you know. Her, along with Faye Tailfeathers. Faye was, again, very assertive, you know. I really think that the doctors were scared of her too, you know, because she was the medical record assistant, and she made sure that the doctors had their notes and their records in order. And if they didn't come to that meeting till they were, that's how scared they were of her, you know. But Derrick, with you moving on, we know with your experience, you know, with your determination, your resilience, stuff like that, I know whatever pathway that you ascribe to go on, you will do well. You know, and I'm very glad that you're very close to your family, especially your dad, you know. Take care of your dad. And Kash, you know, you've heard the board, you've heard staff, you know, we have the utmost confidence that you will continue to carry on the work that's been laid out, you know. We have a strong foundation with regards to who we are, what we believe in, you know. And I know that health will continue to grow. And as Crystal had said, we've got many, many initiatives and opportunities that we have. One of the things, that I'd like to see perhaps maybe the board dwell into a little bit more is on the area of prevention. We've been in crisis mode for far too long with regards to that, and I often wonder if we spend enough time for our young people, with regards to prevention, with the obstacles, with the challenges that we have, just one wrong turn of our young people, and they're lost, with regards to the drugs, with regards to the violence and those type of things, But again, we're counting on you, Kash, and the rest of the staff. I want to acknowledge the staff, because my job was made a lot easier with the staff. The staff are the foundation of who we are, nurses, managers and stuff like that. Without your hard work, without your expertise and your education, I don't think we could be in a place that we are today. I also want to recognize our non-Indigenous staff, throughout the many years. We appreciate your commitment to work with us and your the time that you've taken to understand who we are. I think it's very, very important, because we need all hands on deck, so to speak. So with that, I'd like to also, again, thank you, Derrick, for the time you've spent, and we've learned also from you. And again, Kash, we just want to encourage you. Thank you to the board. We've got a really excellent board, a board that has many different education background, and the ideas that we receive from them, we seem to be gelling really good at this point in time. So with that, thank you very much.
Thank you to Datsiki Pui. Now I'd like to call up Stochbomop, Mr. Kash Sakwina, to come and give the organizational tribute.
Okay, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for the prayer, Martin, and thank you all for coming tonight. Stunit Donago Sakwina. I think you all know me as Derrick's right-hand man over the last few years. It's been an honor to serve under you, Derrick. I've learned so much. I know we're different in a lot of ways, but we're also the same in a lot of ways. And even just yesterday was one of my, it's like my second day without you in the office. And I was meeting with our clinical directors. And I was trying to start off just by kind of sharing a little bit about my influences and kind of where I came from. And I was kind of mainly my late mother and kind of what pushed me into health and wanting to give back to our people. And I was having trouble getting my words out, and I'm not usually a kind of emotional person. I'm usually kind of closed off, and in my head I was just like, geez, that Derrick, he's rubbing off on me. I know he always wears his heart on his sleeve, and so I was kind of a little ticked at that. I was thinking maybe I should make this speech one of those kind of roast type of speeches to get back at you, but I thought I better not. I'm still on probation for my new role. But no, honestly, I've had a lot of time to think about Derrick and the role he's played in my life and really in the lives of all of our staff over the years. And just quickly, I'd just like to remind us all of the great work he's given to our community and just share a little bit of organizational tribute. So we all know that Derrick, he began his career with BTDH in April of 1997 as a finance clerk, and then went on to serve as finance director and then chief operating officer before being appointed CEO in April of 2020. We know that during that time with us, He has guided BTDH through many major milestones, such as COVID. That was the big one. That was rough. We have to admit to that. Also the expansion of the Bringing the Spirit Home program that went from 8 beds to 24. He oversaw the development of the post-detox and pre-treatment trailers, and he supported the establishment of the Lethbridge Wellness Shelter and Stabilization Unit in 2023. He also ensured BTDH maintains its accreditation status throughout those years, even reaching the highest level of accreditation status we ever got, which was accreditation with commendation. I know that milestone Derrick is very proud of, because it involved leading every single program area we had towards a common goal, and that's to strive for the highest quality services to our members. That's something I think we're all really proud of, and I know Derrick, he would never take full recognition for any of those accomplishments, but honestly, he's a big reason why PDTH is where we are today. Both professionally and personally, he has guided many of our leads and staff, including myself, through hell or high water. And I mean literally high water, with the water main break in the office in 2020, like Crystal was saying, like the water was up to our shins in the office. And as many of you know, Derrick is also the master of analogies, like Crystal was sharing. He could break down any complicated situation or issue into something that was just super relatable to the person who needed to hear it. I'm really gonna miss those sport analogies, and to be honest, just your silliness in the office too. He could make humor out of anything, any situation. Lots of funny stories I could share, but I'll save those for another time. But to be honest, Derrick, he's had a lot of successes in health, but when we talk about his legacy, I know people are going to remember him for his successes as a leader, as our mentor, a supporter, just that listening ear, and really always being that calming presence in the face of any storm. On behalf of all of us, Derrick, I just want to say thank you from all of the staff for your service, your leadership, but mostly your compassion. I wish you all the best in this next chapter of your life. Thank you.
Thank you to Sakwina for sharing the tribute from the organization. Now we're going to have a family tribute from Abi Kamotaki, Miss Dr. Terri-Lynn Fox. So.
I don't know if my sisters are going to look at me, because they said they're probably going to cry. That's not the point of when I speak. But usually I do cry. So I'm also known as a crier as well. So, okay. And I was playing that recording my dad did for me last fall, when I said, "Dad, what's the saying when we greet people?" And I'm gonna do the best I can, because I was listening to it. And so, and he says, "That's happy to see you all." No, he said, "I'm happy to see y'all." So thank you. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to our elders. Thank you, Martin, for the prayer to bring us all together the way we used to and we still do today. That's important. That's healing. Oh yeah. My English name is Terri-Lynn. Some people call me Terri. Terri-Lynn, Ter, little sis. So, it was a good thing I wasn't asked, several weeks ago to do this, because I would have, brought out a whole dissertation, I think. What can I say about a tribute to my brother, right? Because I think I am the 0.00% that he was not my supervisor. He was the CEO, he's the big boss, he's that. But because we're siblings, there was always this buffer, right? And I've had several supervisors along the way. And, everyone really values and speaks like, wow, Derrick this and Derrick that. And all I can think of is, well, that's my big brother. Like that's who he is. And that's who he's been. And that's who he'll always be, my big brother. So today we celebrate our older or younger brother on his retirement, a milestone we always knew he'd reach, though maybe not as fast as a horse at the track or as tough as a third period playoff goal, right? As the oldest, he's been one of the trailblazers in our family, the oldest son. Of course, being the oldest son meant he got many privileges. Staying out late, getting the good spot on the couch during hockey night in Canada, and somehow always picking the winning horse or buying the winning horse. Now, we've all seen the proof, the win pictures proudly on display. And then there's the pranks. Nobody is safe, right? Everyone knows, even Kash now, our interim CEO, he's like, yeah, Derrick's pretty silly, pretty humorous. Everyone knows that. I think that's where all his nephews and nieces get their humor from, right? They're always playing jokes on each other. Whether it was hiding our things, or he'll tap us on the shoulder and then run away or look away, and as if we don't know it's him, but he, pulling tricks just to get a laugh or keeping a straight face while setting us up. He always had a way of making life more entertaining. Darn, I thought I deleted this one, but I'm going to share it anyways, okay? His affinity for his nephews, the humor they share. And I won't mention is that you, Delray jokes? Oh, no. I mentioned it. Okay, there you have it. Even now, when he tells a story, we never know if it's the full truth or just another one of his setups. Right? I'm pretty spot on, right? Yeah, they're nodding their heads, yes. Dad's not saying anything. Yeah, the boys know, yeah. This is kind of for me, this next part, but probably all of us. And who could forget our jogs up the hills? You know, Derrick says it's friendly sibling competition. But, you know, I always beat him. And he'd say, no, I let you win. I don't know, but yeah. Whether it was a slow, groaning climb, especially up the steep hill, you know, going towards our grandparents' house, or just up the other hill, when you reach the top, oh, you can see the foothills and the mountains, and that's God's country. That's heaven. And he always just pushed us enough, pushed me enough as well. Even if we're exhausted, we're laughing all the way, telling jokes. Well, those hills were more than just exercise. They were lessons in persistence, teamwork, and sometimes healthy sibling rivalry, right? Of course, he always had his quieter traditions. Like, get this, those late night cereal raids, right? Who remembers puff wheat, right? Right? We always had big bags of puff wheat. Late night snack. Always hit the spot. Somehow the kitchen always gave him away, right? We always knew, that's Derrick. Like, where does it go? Like, down one leg? I don't know. Retirement might just give him more time for those midnight snacks, though now he won't have to sneak around. Or maybe, I don't know, Louise, you'll be spending more time with our brother. Heck, you can have the late night cereal with him. But beyond the laughter and the mischief, our brother has always been a sweet and tender part and heart of our family. He cared for our late mother with patience and compassion, giving her comfort and dignity. And yes, even pranking mom a time or two or three or more. He has been just as devoted in supporting our dad. Showing strength and steady love when it matters and mattered the most. And through it all, his dedication to his wife and children and his extended family has been unwavering, always there, always dependable, always making sure we mattered. And a testament to his and our family, our dedication, devotion, and love. Those nights and days spent in the hospital at our late mom's bedside, driving dad to and from. And when we called you and dad, that mom's time was near. You and dad arrived to sit with us girls to send mom off. So when I was typing this, I was crying, and I was like, how can I say this without crying? But I can't, because it's from my heart. That part of his legacy can't be measured in trophies, win photos, or even bowls of cereal. It's in the love he's given, the example he's set, and the way he's taught us that family isn't just important, it's everything. So here's to you, big brother. May your retirement be full of laughter, a few playful pranks, plenty of hockey nights, maybe a few more new win photos, and always the joy of knowing you've already done the most important work of all. You know, I do have, I really aspired to achieve academic credentials, and besides my mom and dad, in his kind, humble way, my big brother always supported me. Had it not be with the help of him and my family, raising my 4 children would have been very, very difficult. I might not be here where I'm at today. So I'm very thankful to my mom and dad and my older sisters, my nephews and my nieces, and all our family. They have a hand in so much. Derrick, his devotion is second to none. And if I could compare who he is not just a human, but a soul. How he just exudes what love is. You're right up there with Mother Teresa and Gandhi and all those great humanitarians. And I get to call you big brother. So while he was doing all the work in health with all our members, he was also a driver to all his nieces and nephews at some point, for Louise and mom and dad and his family, whether it was sports or art or drama, just go for a drive. Mom's last years, she liked going for drives, and Derrick still takes dad on drives. But according to Cruz, Derrick's not his great uncle. He's his ordinary uncle. What's so great about him? I mean, there's just a minute stories to share. And we have so many when we sit around the kitchen table out at the hills. I just want to thank you also, Derrick, for being Chandra's dancerella partner, you know, when it really mattered to her that she danced to her dancerella. So raise your glass or your eagle feather or your ginger ale, whatever it is, with love, pride, and gratitude to a brother, to a husband, to a son, a prankster, a horseman, hockey fan, and colleague, to a well-earned retirement. Cheers, big brother. May you continue to walk them hills, find peace in your morning coffee, and chuckle with much gratitude at a path steadfastly paved with love. Thank you.
Thank you to Abby Kamodaki for almost, I watch TV. The Olympics are coming, and my grandfather and I will watch, and I'll sit by him. And, the gold medal winner, they'll play their anthem. And as they'll be playing their national anthem, of course, the athlete, the gold medal winner, starts to break down. And my grandpa's sitting next to me. He's like, don't cry. Don't cry. So, Grandpa, I not cry. I believe right now they want to gift, presentation of gifts for Derrick. So the board of directors, I believe, have some gifts for you. Does he run in like a bull? Are you the matadors, or does he just kind of gracefully walk? Should I call him up? Yeah, come on. Receive your gift.
Don't want to see this at the pawn shop.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God.
It's a little heavy.
It's a little heavy. Absolutely. I'll stand behind you.
What is that? Other way.
Other way? Okay.
So turn this around.
Oh, this and this one. This way. Yeah, that way. The black out.
This way.
There you go.
We're still. Because the stripes go up and down.
Oh. Yeah, we were right. Yeah, you were right. We'll get it. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, hey. Thank you.
On behalf of the board, bubble bath.
Oh, bubble bath. A Louise bubble bath.
This is from Chief and Council.
Oh, gee, thank you. Thank
And a
you.
6 up.
Hey.
We're not cheap, right?
Oh, how we put that again.
Shannon?
This.
Crystal.
Like that.
There you go.
Gee, hey, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Shannon, Charlie, JJ. Not Ernestine. We've seen you enough there.
I know.
JJ, Charlie.
Right in front. Where's JJ? Yeah. Kash, Kash, jump on in. Yeah, Kash, jump in.
want to thank everybody for coming here, and thank you for the invitation. I know Derrick started work quite a long time ago. We were hearing like 14 years, 21 years, but it was actually 1997 that he was already working with health. And I remember I was on the board at the time from 96 to 2000. And that's when I first met him and kind of worked a little bit together. And then I was off council for a number of years. And then when I got back on, he was the financial manager. He was the head of finance. And time went on, COVID hit. And, organizations become good organizations, not just for for great management, good morale among the staff, and things work out that way. So when everybody gets along, things work really well. And so one of the things is luck. I think sometimes luck comes into it. The public health had a mock pandemic just before COVID actually hit, and so they went through that mock pandemic. What's his name? Barack Obama had set up a worldwide watch on some kind of pandemic, whatever, and they made everybody write books or write strategies on how you're going to work with the pandemic. And so that happened in November. Our public health went through that, and then just a few months later it hit, and we went into the pandemic. And then our public health, I have to give them a really strong word of admiration. They did a really good job. We lost very few people during the pandemic, and everybody was scared. We all thought we were gonna like lemmings fall off the earth or something. Using an analogy. So that happened. Then we went into the lockdown. Everybody had to work from home and stuff like that. And then we had a water main break. And once we had that water main break, we got hacked for $4.7 million. And our director at the time quit. And we were kind of taken aback by what happened. But we had a plan of succession, and Derrick was next in line. And so he stepped right up. He became the CEO. And I always call it a trial of fire that he went through. I know he had many sleepless nights. He'd come back to work and he said, geez, this is terrible. This is, but he did really well and pulled everybody through it. We got the money back. It was an adventure in itself. They hired somebody from Ottawa. The RCMP from Ottawa were watching the money go all over the place. And then they announced when it came back into Canada, and we got it back. We had a IT expert that came in and did a bunch of stuff, looked at our computers and stuff. It wasn't through the computers; it was through email that this break happened, and Derrick stood through it all, and I know he was pretty scared at times, but we made it through in great shape, and the money was returned. So I have a lot of admiration for Derrick, for going through that. Like, you know, you say you grow into a job. Well, he didn't have time to go into a job. He had to do it right now. And so thank you, Derrick, for your many years of service to Blood Tribe. And I also want to thank Kash. Kash, I didn't realize Kash was Dave's son and Dave and Jolane's son. I thought when I first saw him, I thought, oh, who's that boy? You know, but when I heard him start talking about health, well, I immediately accepted him as a man because he knows what he's doing in health. He knows his job and very represents him very well at any represents himself very well at any table. So I want to thank you, Kash. I think we kind of got along immediately, and I kind of like seeing him and talking to him and stuff like that. So I think health is continuing in the great tradition it's always been going through, and it'll continue and do well as a result of leaders like Charlie and Derrick and Kash. So with that, I want to thank you, folks. That is to our moon is gone. Oh, can then it's so.
Thank you. Hey.
And now a word from the man we're all here to honor, Bachti Gaigi Saugat Simma.
Okay, Nick Sokwa. The cheek, I cheat Scots. Kitty, I nasta toko, and Christico. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you to our counselors, to our board, to my family, to my work family, for coming tonight and this celebration as far as my time with the department. Again, I can't stress enough just, our elders, our staff, our board, our partners, and my family. Thank you, Louise, for being here as well, and all of our family. And again, before I get started, just want to share, as Spoopy mentioned, it's been an honor, growing up in the hills, my family, my parents were very, very supportive, very loving, very protective of us. We were very close in that sense. And so, these are the things that the values that I bring today. It's not so much different in what we do as far as professionally when we care for people. At one time, one of our relatives asked me, out of all of your nieces and nephews, which one is your favorite? And I told them I have 14 favorite nieces and nephews. Like Mom would say, our love for each other is different, but it doesn't change. I just want to say thank you to our admin team for tonight and acknowledging me. Thank you for all what you've done, and again, very close to all of you. I want to say thank you, Shannon, for your support throughout my time as far as CEO, but also too prior to that in senior management for the last 13 years. And I've seen you support many CEOs, some of them, again, very close to us, starting with Charlie and down the road, to myself. Your professionalism, your support never changed. And so very encouraged, very confident in the support you're going to provide to Kash. I just want to acknowledge Kash and just want to again say good luck, Kash. And again, I know that you're going to do very well. And like you mentioned, we might have different points of views, but we also have very similarities. And one of them is, again, knowing what it's like as far as caring. And I see that with you. And so, as we say, we always know when we lead with our hearts, when our heart's in a good place, good things happen. So again, I wish you the best, and I know that you're going to do good. It was a tough decision, the toughest decision I've ever made in my life. But it's one that I, again, truly feel strongly about, when we think of how short our time is and how precious our time is. As Terry mentioned, as Charlie mentioned, my late mother, realizing that it's very short, our time. So we want to ensure that we are giving attention to all of our loved ones. I will truly miss my work family. I was able to grow up at the Department of Health. Been truly an honor to serve with all of you. Very amazing people, all of you. I just want to share a few of the stories, some of them very funny as far as when, again, in our time. As you know, the COVID era was very challenging. And, that was my first time coming in. And so, being a rookie, it's like, you hear the stats and you see the projections. It's like, oh my gosh, we could lose many people. We had outbreaks and, at the care center, but in record time, our team was able to come out of those outbreaks and to support our members. And, I want to acknowledge all of our programs as far as the work that's been done. It was a Friday, and I was in my office at the care center after the flood had happened, and our team really kind of, again, very close, so not hesitant to play tricks on the CEO as well, too. So I was set to meet with the nurse practitioner that afternoon, and I told her, come on over to my office. And so I took one step into my office, and in my mind, it's like, is it real or is it not? I'm one that, we know fight or flight is something. Well, my first choice is flight, not fight. So I go in, and on the chair, there's a big rat, and it's like, to, you know, quickly had to think, is it real or not? It's like not taking any chances. I probably jumped about 8 feet out laterally out of the door. And our nurse practitioner's like, Derrick, are you okay? Do I need to come back? Are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm all right. Damn Kelly. Again, you know, want to mention our team as well too. You know, a lot of you know, closeness that we feel. You know, Jermaine has come aboard, and knowing again, you know, as we all know, we're close knit and we're related. You know, so the more comfortable we feel, the more humorous it becomes. So, you know, Jermaine, we had a new employee come. So again, we always use sports analogies. We had a rookie come into the lineup as far as our team goes, and Jermaine, you know, I overheard her, you know, say, "Oh, by the way, tomorrow is Pink Shirt Day. Wednesday is Pink Shirt Day." So the girl comes in, our staff comes in, and she's got pink shirt. Oh, Jermaine said it was Pink Shirt Day. Keep it up, Jermaine, keep it up. And again, you know, as I mentioned, you know, I just, you know, want to share just the professionalism that Shannon has as far as, and Shannon, your compassion, your professionalism shines out as far as the work that we do. And again, at times it's not easy, but the demeanor that a lot of you have as far as within our organization is very strong. And so those are the things that keep us all going as far as just like our parents. When we see calmness, we're okay. I just want to, again, you know, just want to say thank you to the board, our board of directors. And again, you know, from present, but the last, you know, few terms that I've served, just the confidence and the support and the encouragement in the leadership. Your unwavering support has meant a lot to us. You know, I remember as far as, you know, with, you know, Charlie sharing and knowing Martin as our chair when I was in the front lines, and Martin hasn't changed much. Martin is a storyteller, but again, he brings that humor as well, you know, into our organization. But he also brings the wisdom, and again, for a lot of us, it's a calming thing. But like anybody, Martin enjoys the humor too that we have. And, you know, with some of our politicians, you know, then he would compare them to Trump and Trump's chief of staff, and even the way they gesture, you know, Martin would poke fun in that sense. But all good, all good. And again, you know, truly, you know, thank you, Martin, for, you know, for serving the last 5 years with you as far as our chair. You know, truly, again, you know, you're missed, but again, you know, I'm glad that we reach out to you as far as the support to, you know, when we talk about our way of life, Gibatabis. And again, you know, they're not here, but I want to say thank you to our partners, the South Zone AHS team. Their acknowledgement and their support of our team is so strong, you know. I think of our brother Colin Zieber and the encouragement he has. You know, he says, you know, you guys are an amazing team. It is based on the needs of your members, what you do. He said it is just so amazing how you're able to pivot on a dime based on the needs. You're not that large, but you're large enough that it means a lot to your community. So those are the things we won't forget. So always want to acknowledge our partners with the FNIB team, you know, Dr. Parmenter and the team, always supportive of our community. And at times it's, you know, wanting to be a part of the good stories that we have and the good work that the team is doing. So just encourage as far as our team to continue to stay connected with them. Again, you know, just want to say thank you to some of our staff. I know Crystal is not here. Crystal Mountain Horse, again, you know, been through a lot as far as the trauma, as far as some of the circumstances we faced, you know, very challenging at times, but very strong in advocating for our members. And again, you know, just also want to share with some of the stories that Rod would share. You know, he would be very, at times, he'd know he might be somewhat the only one in favor of a certain issue. And he would share with the board. He would say, no, Martin, let me finish. And then when he was done, he'd say, I stand to be corrected. On a serious note, he really emphasized Ganetsini. We need to do more than just speak it. We need to breathe life. We need to take action as far as our values and the respect for one another. So again, you know, with that, you know, just, you know, very heartfelt as far as some of our board that has served. Just want to say thank you to our programs, to community health and Lori, and guiding us through the biggest pandemic of our time. I had never experienced, you know, to the point where we were even restricted to leave our districts. You know, the guidance from your team was very strong, and at times we'd get very anxious, but you keep us grounded in the sense that, what do we need to do? You need to take those health measures, those social distancing. You need to treat it like your neighbor has it. You need to be safe, keep your family safe. We will always remember those things. And as well, you know, all of the programs that are under you, Lori, too, from Well Baby Clinic to First Steps, you know, lots of good work that you guys are doing. Keep up the good work. To Travis and our team, as far as EMS, thank you, Travis, as far as continuing to save lives in our community. And again, you know, as we say, one loss is too many. So we can imagine for everyone we save just how much it means to family members. To the care center and home care, thank you, Sandra. You've been here a long time, you and Lori longer than I have, but thank you for the respect as far as your supervisor over these last 5 years. Been very strong for me. I know that, you know, when I look back, became one of the oldest, and, you know, not in any way. I think we're around the same age, ladies. Hey. And again, you know, for myself, you know, want to say thank you again, Sandra, as far as your team at home care. You know, personally, you know, Dad, the treatment that we see from our teams is very compassionate, but it's beyond just treating. The friendship, the relationships that our teams establish with our families is just so strong, and that acknowledgement it just further emphasizes the health and well-being of our people. So thank you. Thank you, Craig, for leading a tough area as far as our non-insured health benefits, our mobile medical unit, our medical transportation, our clinic. Again, it is a tough role, but again, you know, definitely when we were looking for supports, you know, I went to Lori and Sandra, and they identified you right away. So it made it easy. And, you know, from the time you stepped into that role, been very strong. And so thank you. And we know that, again, Kash had been in that role prior to him stepping up as our Chief Operating Officer. So, again, I know that he's very thankful and supportive of the work that you've done, too. Thank you to our wellness team for supporting our members. We go back to our time during COVID. There was a call out from the community, and just the restlessness and the anxiousness of what was happening. We were in two pandemics. The COVID pandemic, but we had an existing addictions and mental health pandemic that we were facing. So again, the work that you guys did in the day treatment program and the award-winning Premier's Award, very strong, a testament to the innovation and the desire to make lives better for our people. Thank you. To our O&M team, to Josh, going back to our COVID time, thank you for keeping us safe. Again, we look at our facilities and some of them are aging, but it is a testament to his team as far as the upkeep Our health center, our original health center, is basically past its lifespan. But the work that our teams do, so professional. When you look at our facilities, as Kash mentioned, it is no different. It might even be more sacred than you would go to any other health organization. So thank you to our O&M team for the work that you do. Thank you, Ellie, and the Bringing the Spirit Home team and your team as far as the work that's being done. Thank you for helping our members during their most challenging times to see light, that people do care, and there is love in the world. So thank you for caring, knowing that we've had family too go through those doors. And thank you for all the support. Ernestine, Amanda. Thank you, Terri-Lynn and Shilpa and Kash, our recovery community. That's the new kid on the block, and we're very excited. We know that it's much needed. At times we see a lot of relapse, as we will say. We'll see challenges as far as for our people to have long-term stays and supports and incorporate it with Kibatabis in noon is second to none. And again, it's with pride, and we know that we're not necessarily competing, but we also know too that our model is being shared across the province as well. And the province is looking at us in how we help our members. And for us, we've shared many times, if there's any secret in the work we do, it is in our culture. It is in our way of life. When our elders bestow names to our members, that empowerment, that inspiration they feel is a strong component of their healing journey. So again, thank you to the team. And again, thank you to our shelter team and the work that they're doing here in town. And again, I was able to, very fortunate that they had a little luncheon for me last week. And so thank you to Suzanne and the team and the work they do. And we know that we have many members that struggle here in the city. So this is why, again, the partnership with the province, who better to serve than ourselves for our members. So thank you to the shelter team. Thank you to my close family, the admin team. Again, it goes without saying that I grew up with a lot of you. I remember when I was still in the front line, Shannon was just coming out aboard. And again, Shannon was very reserved. In our way, we will say, she was very shy. Today, she is one of our assertive leaders. And so again, just always looking out for the team and always having our backs. Thank you, Shannon, and thank you for the care as far as the work that we do. I just want to say thank you to my dad. Thank you for your strength, Dad, and your resilience. Thank you for leading by example after Mom passed, after Mom went home. Thank you for instilling discipline needed, and at times, today we'll say tough love. I remember my mom sharing with my first cousin, Noreen, how excited I was, knowing that my dad was a good hockey player, and we'd hear stories of his playing days and, just how rough and tumble, but how skilled he was as well. Well, like any son, we wanted to be like our dad. But I shared with our team, I went through some awkward years in my teen years. I have the mind of a professional athlete, but the body of an introvert. So this is where Kash, you'll hear all of the sports analogies. That's, that professional mind that I have of a professional hockey player. I remember my first hockey camp. I was just so on top of the world. And, I didn't know him at the time, but it was Willie Littlechild and some of them that had come down to have mass kind of camps to begin the season. And it was going to be my first season, and just so happy and, again, able to skate and do the drills. And, I thought I did pretty well, but my dad pulled me aside after the practice, and he said, "My boy, I seen you. You weren't trying hard. He said, if you're going to do anything, you do it to the best of your abilities. You try hard every time. So every shift after that, every line shift, I went hard after that. You know, I really tried. And so, again, if it wasn't for the awkwardness, I might be in the NHL today. I want to say thank you to my sisters for always pushing me. My two older sisters, my big sister Annette, as far as, you know, leading us. And at times, you know, even recently with Mom's loss, you know, you've been very strong. And at times, you know, we're not always together. But when we see each other, you provide that strength, but also that toughness. I never had an older brother, so my sister served as an older brother too. So, you know, as far as scraps go, and some of them towards the end were like hockey fights, you know. She tried to jersey me a few times. Thank you for your love, sister. Thank you, Sheila, for being like, as our parents would say, our colored twins. Our family, our siblings are very fair. Sheila and I are kind of the little ones that are a little bit shady. So Dad calls us my two colored babies. And Dad was sharing, you know, again, Dad was one that was the first from our nation to play junior A hockey back in 1960-61 for the Lethbridge Native Sons. And Dad shared that there might have been over 60 players try out. And he said every time they made cuts, he said, I expected to get cut. He said, I was so surprised when I made the team. And back then, there wasn't drafts. The NHL team sponsored junior teams. Basically, they owned junior teams. So the Detroit Red Wings owned the Lethbridge Native Sons. And so it was kind of in the plans that, you know, after the first year, after Dad became of age, that he could go play in Detroit. And again, it's not in any way, you know, it is a fact when we look at our way of life. You know, Dad is very resilient, coming from the lived experience, from trauma, a survivor of boarding school. You know, to be able to do that was a huge achievement. And so again, you know, Dad, with honor, you know, thank you for the strength. I want to say thank you to Terri-Lynn. You know, again, I would, you know, I might forgive you for sharing that you used to beat me at times. You know, we talk about, you know, awkward years. And at times, you know, I remember we were coming back from Lake St. Anne and we went to visit the priests. And Mom and Dad had met Father Red Jolly. He was there. And so again, you know, then they were visiting with him and we started playing on the lawn. And again, already being in horse racing. So Terri-Lynn, let's race. She beat me a few times and it's like, let's race again, you know, let's race again. It's like, you know what, I'm going to get fast again, you know, I'll beat you. But thank you, Terri-Lynn, for your assertion and always being of support and, you know, your encouragement and your belief in us at times. How could we not be strong? I want to say thank you to my brother TJ for keeping me grounded and humble. It was very devastating when my brother was diagnosed with schizophrenia when he was only 18 years old. It just felt like his life was robbed, and for a lot of us, it was very, very tough. It was the first time I ever seen my dad cry without being intoxicated. It was my mother's strength that shared with us that, you know what, this is the best for TJ. I want to ensure that my son is going to be taken care of. So she did everything she could to ensure it. Today, TJ is in care, but we see him all the time, but he is my strongest connection to my mother. I want to say thank you to my wife, Louise. I wouldn't be here today, Louise, without you, without your unconditional love, your unwavering support. Thank you for your understanding, the long hours that we worked, and sharing and supporting me during the traumatic and challenging times that we faced. Your strength meant the world to me. As Martin mentioned, we went through a lot of trauma in the beginning, and at times it was like I didn't know if I was going to make those first 2 months. I stopped saying what next after we got hacked. I said that after the flood, what next? And then that happened. So I stopped saying that. But, at times did take some of that home a little bit. And, I even shared with the RCMP and, our Blood Tribe Police. I said, my gosh, it feels like a murder was just committed and I'm holding a smoking gun. It doesn't look good. And, there was one Saturday, I got myself in a real frenzy. And, we had already shared, and we were in contact with the headquarters of the RCMP, but it was very traumatic. And, to the point where it's like, Louise, they're coming for me. I said, look across at Dave's drive-in. RCMP's there. And then she said, no, they're not. Don't worry. And then a short few minutes later, I said, look, Louise, now Blood Tribe Police and RCMP are parked on that side. And I said, and now look at Elliot's cul-de-sac. They're over there too. Louise, they're surrounding us. I think they're taking me in today. I felt so bad. Louise's knees just kind of buckled. She's like, whoa, whoa. And then she got choked, and it's like, Derrick, snap out of it. Louise, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. But thank you. And thank you for sharing your family with us, with me. Again, we have, like I say, I come from a big family, but I also have a big family too now. So thank you all for coming. Brad, Michelle, Charlene, Roscoe, Spoby, Cruz, and Scotty. Thank you for coming. And again, we all wonder what makes us tick. Again, my late mother passed before I became CEO. She passed in January 25th of 2018 at 7:05. I didn't know if I could make it. My mom was my strength. My mom was my best friend. I could share everything and anything with my mom. But again, I drew strength through it, and I shared with myself that I will continue to honor my mother, and I will continue to be connected with her through prayer. Every morning I will say, good morning, Mom. Could you pray with us? Have the privilege, the last little bit to drive to work with my dad. And every morning we would say our rosaries. And in the end, we would say, again, for our past loved ones, from my grandparents to his siblings and my uncles to Mom, as far as praying for us for the day. These are the things that I carry. My mom stood for those that couldn't help themselves. She said, Siki, they don't have anybody. You need to help them. And at times, having a conscience, as we would say, being very aware of our spirits, it's like, gee, Mom, why do I have a big conscience? Why do I have to? She said, I don't know, my boy. She said, maybe it's because you had near-death experience. You appreciate life. But again, many things shape us, I want to acknowledge my family, Charlie, Marcel, and Ernestine. It was their loss of their parents that really shaped and really, the appreciation of how precious life was. We were very young, but we were very fond, but we knew how challenging it was. And I just, very honored and just so proud. My parents, took in many of our cousins as their own, such as Charlie, Marcel, Ernestine, Godfrey, a lot of you. And so again, these are the things, it's a natural thing for me as far as when we say we have a big family and we care for everybody. So, as I said, it's bittersweet. I am sad to leave my work family, but I am also too, it is a new chapter. It is time to celebrate as well of the history that our teams have achieved to this point, but the future what the future beholds for us. And again, I can't stress enough, Kash, wish you all the best and know that you're going to do well. And it isn't about pressure, it's about honor and privilege. So thank you, everybody, and thank you for coming tonight. And girly, it's time to party a little bit.
Thank you to our drummers, Iks Tatutako, Tap Sukapi. Now I'd like to call on Abot Tugan for our closing remarks, and then ni Damo Takayopa.
Thank you, Spopi. That was a beautiful job you did tonight. Derrick, on behalf of my family, on behalf of the board, the staff, and our community, we love you and thank you for the hard work that you've done for the Blood Tribe Department of Health. And for all the staff that is here, this is a legacy that we must continue to remember who we are and what we're about and who we serve. Keep that in mind and it'll make our jobs a lot easier, but at the end of the day, it'll make our community a lot safer and healthier. So again, thank you, Derrick, love you. I know my little brother here is not out of the picture. He will resurface somewhere. Like I mentioned, when you're up in Calgary, there was already Nixie Napiquags that were already asking, what are your plans? So I said, hang on. He's still working for the tribe there. So he's going to be a very popular person because of all the insight he has with the department and also with health as well too. So thank you again for coming out. Love you, Derrick. Hun.